All right, let's jump over to one of the more interesting teams on this list, the Jets. So they had a very busy offseason, no doubt about it. They got Mike Williams, constantly injured receiver for the Chargers. They got Tyron Smith. They got Hassan Reddick. I mean, it's like a Madden offseason. You just hear the big names. They have the high overalls, from different teams. They lost a couple of guys on the defensive line, but I mean, theoretically, getting Hassan Reddick is a great replacement for that. But Hassan Reddick is also not in the country of the United States right now. From the last time I checked in on it,
Is
I
he in
also
jail? Is he in
noticed.
jail or something?
Yeah, he's in Japan. He's in Japan running around in like Japanese clothes. So you got Aaron Rodgers, of course, he didn't show up for training camp again. I mean, that didn't shock me. I almost didn't expect to see him there. I don't think he's ever going to go to training camp ever again. So on paper, this is a great team. I mean, they have a great defense from top to bottom. They theoretically got better on paper defensively. They have more weapons, but something about it. I mean, first of all, we know that there's all these problems with Hassan Reddick. Like, they traded for him. It seemed like they promised him a contract extension, and they just essentially got there, and that wasn't happening. You don't even know what you're going to get out of Aaron Rodgers at this point. I mean, he's a TV guy now. He's almost like a part-time football player. And I know if he played a full season, like, I have no doubt he's one of the best quarterbacks ever to play, but just feels like it's going to be a typical Jets season to me. It feels like it's lining up. Everything is okay. Yeah, we look like we're going to be great. We have all these pieces in place. But what happens when Mike Williams falls? He's out. He hurt his hamstring or something. Aaron Rodgers, he's a little banged up. And then suddenly the wheels start to fall off, which just seems to be every Jets season ever. And I know they actually had a pretty decent win total last year. I don't remember the number, but it was like crazy that despite
7 games.
Yeah, despite everything that happened, like winning 7 games is like almost like impressive.
With the worst quarterback play in history, they won 7 games. And they should have won 8. They should have beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like it was almost time for them to make a head coaching change. And I'm not the biggest fan of head coaching carousels. I actually believe guys should get like much longer. A lot of guys should get much longer than they've had a chance to in the NFL. But I don't know. I just feel like they've stagnated, I guess, with Robert Saleh. It kind of feels like what it is. Like, yeah, he's a vibes guy, and I love those kinds of coaches where they're just like big, strong, tough guys to motivate the team, like Pierce for the Raiders or Dan Campbell for the Lions.
Gray was like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but there just feels to be something missing for him. Like, he definitely just doesn't have the wherewithal for the modern NFL, I guess. Like, he's so defensive minded that the offense has just like been nothing for so long. And yeah, maybe Zach Wilson was a big part of that. I don't know. Like, it's almost like hard to say just because I feel like they can't keep it together. And I feel like this goes beyond like who you signed in the offseason. It's just, and part of it is playing in New York. And I think New York like sabotages its own teams. And in all sports, like there's just put so much pressure on these guys that it's like almost impossible to succeed. And it feels like that. But like, I don't know what Robert Saleh is going to do to get them over the hump this year. Like, it almost feels like this is going to be a 9-win team and it's just going to be chaos every week. And it's always going to come down to it. Or, I mean, like I said, if you look at the roster and you're like, wow, Aaron Rodgers, he's got Chris Olave now, he's got all of these guys, he's got Mike Williams now, he's got a great running back, but health is an issue, of course. And also just like the general like direction of the team. Are they together? I'm not sure. Like right now, it doesn't feel like they're together at all.
No, and I think it's going to be their undoing. I don't like the Jets. I don't like the Jets. I don't like Saleh. Aaron Rodgers is my least favorite athlete of all time in any sport. So there's that. You know what I mean? There's that. I just feel like he's just a surly prick that likes to hold hostage, these franchises. And it is going to be what it is. And, being from New York, you're 100% right. The New York media will eat their young. I mean, like, go look at what they're doing to the Yankees right now. I mean, if you don't produce in New York, they're coming for you. They're coming for your family. The kids at school are coming for your kids. Like, it's brutal. And so the expectations are high for New York. because on paper, they're really poised to make a huge run, especially on defense. They've done a lot of moving parts this offseason. They drafted well. They're a solid ball club, but this team is going to only go as far as Aaron Rodgers takes them. Now, everyone is talking about Aaron Rodgers like he's Aaron Rodgers circa 2012. I mean, he is 40 years old. You know what I mean? He's 40, guys. I don't know. I mean, I don't see too many older quarterbacks starting in the NFL making it. Brady is the anomaly, and I think that guys like Aaron Rodgers would trade his career for Brady's career overnight because all the MVPs have amounted to nothing in big games. Has this guy ever beaten the San Francisco 49ers? I don't know. And so I'm concerned about Aaron Rodgers. I'm really concerned about Saleh. Saleh is not an offensive-minded coach, and in order to win in the AFC, you have to score points. He's not a play designer. He's not a sharp play caller. He is a rah-rah, run-through-the-wall, defensive-minded coach. That's what he is. Now, I don't know who the OC is there, but whoever that guy is, that guy's going to be earning his money because you got pieces. Garrett Wilson is as good as anybody. Garrett Wilson is going to have a breakout season this year. All the guy needs is a quarterback. And when you think about the fact that they won 7 games with some of the most horrendous quarterback play in the history of the National Football League, the sun is still shining in New York. There's promise. They go draft Malachi Corley, who's one of the most slept-on wide receivers in this year's draft. This guy, you could pepper this guy with targets, and he's looking to run over people. So I like him. Keep your eye open for him. He's going to get some run. Mike Williams, I'm not a big fan of Mike Williams. Okay, Mike Williams is never healthy. Okay, Joe Biden is healthier than Mike Williams. I mean, it's bad. He's always hurt. Him getting hurt is like a rite of passage. It's like the sun coming up and setting every day. He will be injured this year. But with Breece Hall running the ball, who is an absolute monster, I've never seen a player come back from an ACL tear and look so good in my life. When this guy is on the field, they have a chance. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't turn the ball over, and the Jets play good D. So when you put all these things together, they're a good team. Would I have preferred them take Brock Bowers? They took Ole Fashanu. I think they should have taken Brock Bowers. Ty Conklin is a bum, dude. Aaron Rodgers needs weapons, man. You already have a decent O-line. I get that, you don't want to get Aaron Rodgers hurt again, but, Aaron Rodgers is not your franchise quarterback. He's going to be out of there in 2 years. So take a shot. Brock Bowers is the next George Kittle, and even Jet fans didn't like the pick. Now, I like Olu, so you know this, but I think it was the wrong pick. Look, Jermaine Johnson, they got Kinlaw, Quentin Williams, Hassan Reddick. If Hassan Reddick ever gets his head together, Quincy Williams, C.J. Mosley, Sauce Gardner. You know what I mean? These are amazing players that if they all play up to their potential or exceed their potential, the Jets' defense is going to be very, very tough to go against week in and week out. They had some signature wins last year. Like I said, they should have. The refs gave Kansas City a win. That was the game that Zach Wilson played the game of his life. They went to Green Bay and won that game. These are signature wins. Now, it matters when you play these teams, but the bottom line is a dub is a dub. I think that 9 wins is on the table. I do. I think 9 wins is on the table. Let's roll through it and see what's popping. September 9th, I think they're going to lose to the Niners. I think that's going to be a very difficult game for them to win. But I'm telling you right now, from the handicapping aspect of World of Matchups, I'm taking the Jets plus the points. I don't care what the points. I think the Niners take a huge step back this year. And the Jets D is very good. And that's a game that Aaron Rodgers is going to be very fired up to be in. He wants to get this game. Opening day. He has to have it. He knows he has to have it. He's been in Egypt. You know what I mean? We need some positive PR for Aaron Rodgers. You would get it with this W. So Jets money line all day or just plus the points. Week after that, first 2 games are on the road. Titans, I'm going to give them an L there too. I think the Titans are just a lot better, man. They're going to be a lot better. Titans have good players, and I'm going to give them that dub just because they're home. The following week, they're going to beat the Pats. We know this. The week after that, they're going to beat the Broncos. We know this. I think they're
Gonna
going to beat.
destroy the Vikings.
I think they're
Destroy
going to
them.
beat. I think they're going to beat the absolute snot out of the Vikings. The Vikings are not good on the home, at home, on the road. They're not good. I think they're going to beat them. I think honestly, I think they're going to beat the Buffalo Bills. Then, so now we're on a 4-game win streak. I think they're going to lose October 20th in Pittsburgh, but I think it's going to be
Mm.
very, very close. The Jets
I
look,
could see that too. I think Aaron Rodgers is a little too stiff. I think that defensive line is going to tear him apart.
guys. You want to make money this year? Just bet the Jets plus the points anytime they're dogs. Because they'll lose, but they're going to keep these games close. The defense is too good. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't turn the ball over. If he's not handing you the ball, you're going to have to be perfect on offense. And I love them plus the points all year long. October 27th, they're going to destroy the Patriots again. Halloween is where it gets tricky because they're home versus the Texans. And I could see this being a game where everyone loads up on the Texans, because the Texans are going to have a pretty good start as well. They're going to be really highly favored. Rookie quarterback comes in and just blows the doors off the world, and now he's in a sophomore season, more weapons, defense, offense, everything is kicking for them. And here come the Jets at home. I think the Jets win that game. I'm going to give the Jets that game. I think off that high, though, they're going to go to Arizona November 10th and lose that game. They're going to come back home and they're going to blast the Colts, and now they're on the bye. So we're already looking at about 6 wins here. They're going to come off the bye September 1st. I think they're going to beat the Seahawks. December 8th, I think they lose to Miami. I think they go to Jacksonville and get the win there. I think they beat the Rams the following week, and I think they'll lose their last 2 games at Buffalo, and I think Miami will be fighting to get in the playoffs, and I think the Jets will somehow lay down and blow a game. They always do. Every team does. Every team does every year. But I'm going to give it to the Jets on the last game of the year because that's typical Jets fashion. It's like the Jets and the Raiders find the most egregious ways to lose games at the worst times. That's where it's going to happen there. I'm going to give them 9 wins. I don't know if they do it in style, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of money to be made on the Jets this year. They are going to be getting points from a lot of these teams that I think they should be favored versus. And if Aaron Rodgers comes out piss and vinegar, they could win 10 games. They're gonna
Right
make
on the dot, 10 games. That's
they're
what their
gonna
win
make the
total is.
playoffs. They're good. The Jets are gonna
Assuming
make
that
the playoffs.
Aaron Rodgers is healthy, and that's a big assumption.
It's a big
though.
assumption.
It's 18 weeks of football.
You
I
gotta
don't know,
keep them
man.
upright.
I'm not convinced that Aaron Rodgers is going to be there for Week 18. Now, if he is, I think they're right on the dot for that 10 wins. But
Well, their method of thinking in the war room is this is why we drafted the LT. This is why we didn't take Brock Bowers. Because we in New York right now believe that the Jets can win a Super Bowl. That's what they're thinking. We saw us play the Super Bowl champs to the letter, and a bad call stole the game from us. And yes, we were home, but okay, that's a lot of hope and promise. And that was with that was with a team not as good as the team we have now. That was without Malachi Corley. That was without Hassan Reddick. That was without Aaron Rodgers. We won 7 games last year with bums. We can't win 10 games and go to the playoffs this year. You know what? I'm still going under. I think the Jets are gonna go 9-8. I think they're gonna squeak into the playoffs. I think they're gonna lose a game they're supposed to win. And I think that's how it's going to end up for them. The locker room, I think, is just not in enough cohesion. I don't feel like they think that this is our leader. They're not looking at Aaron Rodgers like the Chiefs are looking at Patrick Mahomes, like the Bills are looking at Josh Allen. They probably hate this guy, honestly. I mean, you play 4 snaps, and on a mandatory minicamp, you're in Egypt when everyone else is showing up. Dude, you couldn't have rescheduled that trip. Now, it's not a huge deal. It's really not. It's Aaron Rodgers. No one would be talking about this if this was Patrick Mahomes who didn't show up. But it's Aaron Rodgers. But it just looks bad. It's not going to bring you and your teammates closer. You know what I mean? Like, we're all out there for the same goal, and you're just not there. You know, were you getting baptized in an Nile River? Like, I mean, come on. You couldn't have canceled this trip? I'm pretty sure you didn't even book this trip yourself. Come on, bro. To me, it's not a big deal, but it looks bad. And I feel like there is this thing during the season where, like, you got to have a band of brothers, man. You know what I mean? You got to know that you don't have to look over your shoulder, that someone is there to protect you at all times, and you're on the same page, and we all love each other, and we all care for each other, and we all want to win. And if someone comes at you, I'm coming at them. Like, somebody could probably cheap shot Aaron Rodgers. No one would care. I don't know. I just don't see the team rallying around him like that. It's almost like when you're playing two-hand touch and you just bring in someone to be official QB. Aaron Rodgers is just official QB. Whatever happens to him happens. He's just there to throw the ball. I feel like he's a rental. I feel like he's a rental.
Well, he's not around. How come the guy's even, he's.
I just don't see them.
It's been 2 years now, and I rarely see him around the team.
Ever.
He's literally rarely physically around the team. So.
I think they're better to be. I think they're 2 wins better. 2 wins. I give them 9-8. If everything really breaks right, 10-7, this might be the hardest OU to pick. It's 10.
Oh yeah, big time. It's right on 10.
I'm going under. I could see a world where they win 10 games and the push kills you. I'm going to go under. They're not winning 11 games. This team is not winning 11 games. So in order to win the bet, they need 11 games. Not going to happen. Good luck, Jets. I got no love for y'all.